when you have good relationships, and every town or village we operate in, great relationships with the mayors and the building departments, and so it's comes to be a small island.
Welcome to Staying Hungry. Special guest today, James Bonanno from Taproom,
Yep.
Bango Bowls, and a bunch of other summer places, Salt Shack. And Jamie, give the listeners just a few of the brands that you work on throughout the year.
Sure, yeah. Thanks for having me. Upstream Hospitality Group is the name of our overarching group, if you will. And then, Taproom, which we opened our first location 15 years ago already. It was almost 15 years in early 2011. And you mentioned Bango Bowls, which is a quick serve salad, grain bowls, smoothies, acai bowls. We're actually a franchisor there, so we got some franchisees open here locally. And then we have a handful of seasonal restaurants on Ocean Parkway. So you mentioned them: Salt Shack, the Boatyard, Overlook, Surf Shack. So.
Got it. So you guys staying busy, to say the least.
Staying busy, yeah.
But I think today, if we can go back to, I think the article that we see swirling around social media where it says 2 broke bartenders.
Sure.
So certainly not in it alone, but Dave is one of your partners.
Yeah, Dave's my main partner.
And you guys worked for Scotty.
We did.
Shout out to Scotty. He was on recently, and great guy. Yeah. But take us back to then, or maybe even before then. What got you into bartending, and then we'll jump into the business.
Sure. I mean, hospitality, restaurants is the only thing I've ever worked in ever. Started when I was really young, like 13 years old, working illegally, getting paid cash, and just did everything in the business. I was bussing tables and washing dishes early.
At a restaurant?
At a restaurant, yeah.
Local?
In Sayville.
Got it. Okay. Want to name it, or?
Sure, yeah, why not? It was out of business. It was a Dog and Duck.
Okay.
So right, and now it's Blackbird's Grill in Sayville.
Got it.
On Montauk Highway and Broadway there.
On Broadway, right. Okay.
So yeah, in the 90s it was Dog and Duck. My dad's buddy owned it. I was working there and just started working every role in the restaurant, and I was waitering and I was bartending and bar backing, and then I ended up working. I left there. Ended up working for Scotty and Mark Miller over at
as a bartender.
As a bartender, a bar back, and then bartender. And I worked there for 10 years.
Okay.
And that's where I met my partner, Dave. So we were in our mid-20s, just bartending there, making cash, having fun. Like I said, only business I was ever in. I loved it. I'm sure a bunch of your restaurant guests have kind of said it before, but, the restaurant industry can bite you, and it's kind of in you.
Maybe their exact words were, "It will rip the soul out of you."
It might rip the soul out of you.
A few times we've heard that. But we understand what you're describing.
Yeah, so it was always in me. I always loved it. I was always entrepreneurial. I knew one way or the other I was going to do my own thing, whether it was restaurants or not. But I knew I was going to start and open a business. And just an opportunity happened. We happened to be with Scotty, our first restaurant.
2011.
Yeah, Scotty was actually our partner there for.
Technically, your words, you lied to him about having the money.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Dave and I, we were just bartending, kind of spitballing ideas. We should open a place one day. We didn't really have a concrete plan. There was no business plan. There was really nothing but a few initial conversations. And then one day, we just kind of looked at each other and said, Scotty's old Parabel, which is our current location today in Patchogue, had moved down the street, and that restaurant was sitting vacant for about 4 months on Main Street in Patchogue. So It's hard for people to conceive that over the past 15 years, like, a restaurant sat vacant for this time in Patchogue. But this is kind of going back when Patchogue was just starting to turn.
It was a pretty distressed area.
Yeah, there was still a lot of vacancies, on Main Street there. So we had called him and just said, "Hey, what are you doing with the old place?" He said, "I don't know, but I've been paying rent for 4 months. I got to make a decision ASAP. So can you meet me at Dublin Deck in 10 minutes? And we were just like, sure, right? And we walked in the room and he's like, "I got to do something. Do you guys have a concept?" And, at the time, craft beer was just starting.
On the rise?
Yeah, it was on the rise. It wasn't, you couldn't find an IPA in every restaurant. And so we're like, hey, we want to kind of, make a real casual, accommodating place. We want craft beer. We want to help educate. That was our mindset. We want to help educate the market in beer and craft beer. But we don't want that to be the only focus. We really want to make food, comfort food, really good. We don't want to be a bar where the food's an afterthought, but we want people to come for us for the food. And we just wanted to be casual, like one acoustic guy playing Tom Petty, and that was the idea.
You had a vision.
Yeah, so I guess we had somewhat of a plan, just wasn't,
on paper.
Put it together in 20
wasn't
minutes.
On paper.
On the drive over.
And he said, hold on. He went in the other room. He had a partner at the time, and he came back and he said, look, we don't want to sell the place to you, but we'll partner with you. So we said, all right, and we went in the other room, and I was like, Dave, we're bartenders, never ran a kitchen, don't know much about the food side of things. Let's just partner with these guys. Scotty's partner was a great chef. Let's
John. Right?
Yeah, John. Yeah, we're probably not going to make a lot of money here. The place is pretty small. There's 4 of us, but let's just chalk this up as a learning experience. So it all happened fast. I didn't think this would be what I was scaling. To be honest with you, Scotty said, "Hey, all the licenses are current. We can open in 2 weeks." He threw out a name. Birth of Taproom. It was like, yeah, it was like 2 seconds. We didn't even, it was just like, all right, next. And then he's like, you guys need, I can't remember if it was $100,000 or $150,000. It was somewhere in that range.
A significant amount.
Yeah, for a couple bartenders who really had no money. I had just bought a house, and I was renovated it, so I depleted everything I had. I joke around, you probably heard it before, but Dave had a spending problem. He would make, $300 bartending and spend $400 the next day. So Scotty said, you guys got the money? I said, yes. Shook his hand. Again, I thought I had more time. That's when he said, we'll do it in 2 weeks. I was like, oh, shoot, we need this money in a week.
Right.
So we walked out, and I was like, hey, Dave, you have money or access to money? And he's like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
And, I had the same answer. So,
got it. And the funny part, I guess, now is Dave reached out to his girlfriend's father or something, whether that was completely
that was the
accurate
first. Yeah, that was the first initial. He's like, you know what? I dated this girl. Her dad's loaded. He loved me.
It's a no-brainer.
He loved me.
Yeah.
It's an easy conversation.
I'll call him. He set up a meeting. The guy missed on that. It was a couple days later. I remember it like it was yesterday. Started peppering us with questions. Let me see the business plan. We don't have one. Asked this question. Not sure. How you gonna do this? I don't know. And then he's like, I'm not giving you idiots any money. And he and he walked out. So, fortunately, we just kind of went to friends and family, pieced it together, said, hey, we'll pay you interest only when you need your money back, and just made sure that we never missed a payment, and we always got the money back exactly when they asked for it. And that was kind of the formula.
And I think, just again, reading the article, you and Dave built such trust with Scotty, and I think this is important for those that listen. That's something that you can control in your life, whether it's in hospitality, in business, in life. Just build real value with whoever is in your life to give you that chance. And
100%. I mean, when I have the opportunity to speak to high school kids or college kids, and I reflect on my career and where I've gotten to today. I mean, I worked for Scotty as an employee of his for 10 years, right? So I didn't know that 10 years was a, opportunity to showcase who I am as a person and my character to someone I potentially am going to partner with down the road. I couldn't forecast that. Yeah. So, I tell people I couldn't turn on the character switch when it was convenient for me, right? But
you were building it along the way.
But I was building along the way. And even with the people I borrowed money from, I mean, we raised $100,000 for guys who've never been in business, raised $100,000 in like 5 days, right? So it's like people saw the type of people we were. They saw our work ethic. I mean, Scotty, saw that. And he had, at this time, he was vetting multiple people who wanted that space in Patchogue and multiple people who asked to partner with him, and he chose us, right? So that's kind of my message to students. It's like, you got to do the right thing when no one's looking. And you got to show up, be the first one there, the last one to leave, do the right thing. And that's played out positively multiple times in my career.
Awesome. And Taproom has gone from 1, is it 8?
We got 9.
9.
We got 9 open right now. We opened 4 last year.
Wow.
We have a lease signed right now in Bayside, Queens, so that's just waiting on a building permit there.
So that'll be 10?
That'll be 10. We got a couple turnkey restaurants that we're looking at that we might pull the trigger on. So, yeah, it's the brand's going very well. We're growing it and scaling it, and have a great team working with us.
Talk us through that of just being able to scale that fast. Most people, their heads would spin to try to open up 4 places in 1 year.
Yeah, so I'll say that. I say that, and that's what happened. It was just over a year, 4 locations. But what people don't see is what the foundation we were building behind the scenes. So, really since right after COVID, so it's been about 5 years, we really got serious on it, and it's a total mindset shift. We weren't running a restaurant anymore, but now we're running a company. We just happen to sell food and beverage, and restaurants is what we do. But we're going to run a company, and we're going to build the foundation to scale. We're going to build the systems, the processes, get the right team, get the technology. So we were doing all that for years, and we opened a couple stores along the way, but we really were ready to start growing. And there's just different phases of the business, and we're trying to elevate our guest experience and team experience every single day, and we work really hard to make sure we put out a good product. But there's a total different mindset from operating 1 or 2 restaurants than of opening 10 plus.
Why do you think Taproom is such success? I mean, you serve food and beverage, and certainly not to take away anything you guys have done. I mean, one is in my neighborhood, and I come down, and there's just always a feel, and everyone feels kind of a little bit different. But why are you guys so successful? And maybe you could even talk about, has there been any fumbles along the way where, not to my knowledge, have you opened one and had to close one?
Fortunately,
knock on wood,
with that brand, no. I have, as entrepreneurs, Dave and I have taken plenty of lumps. You hear on a podcast, oh, we did this, we succeeded this.
Sure.
We've closed restaurants before. We've done stuff outside of the industry that didn't work, but we were always kind of taking shots. We really got focused, though, in the past 5 years. So we've pretty much turned down every opportunity that came our way.
You get a lot of them, right? Same thing, being an entrepreneur. Everyone comes to you. Like, you're the guys now that those 22-year-olds are like, hey, I know this guy has a lot of money.
We were just talking about it, and we hired an amazing coach 5 years ago who helped other brands scale nationally. And one of the first things she said, we put, just a vision statement and got serious about growing. And one thing that resonated, she said to me, she's like, you have a little confidence, you have some experience, you're going to start making more money, you're going to want to do more things, and more opportunities are going to start flying. The opportunities are going to accelerate
when you're not even looking.
People are going to want to partner with you. They want to do, they want to. So you have to have the discipline to really be very choosy and say no, and really look at, hey, this is the original vision. Does this ancillary thing help or hurt that original vision? And I think that was great advice, because it did. Over the past 5 years, we've turned down a lot of things.
So you're listening.
I'm trying to. It's hard, as an entrepreneur, and you see opportunity, you get excited. Yeah, we could do that, or we should do that. And then I kind of sit back and I revert back to that conversation, and I say no. Like, we got a couple brands in Taproom and Bango. They're doing very well. Let's just focus and keep growing.
And how did the whole Bango Bowl concept come to fruition, to kind of not in the wheelhouse of Taproom?
Yeah, it was, we have another partner, Ryan, who runs the day-to-day. He's a good friend of mine from grade school, and he was living in Manhattan, working for LinkedIn at the time. And this is, I guess, going back to like 2016. And he was just like, hey, there's not really a great acai concept in New York City. We should be the one who starts growing there. And being on Long Island, I wanted nothing to do with going into the city and commuting. It's a whole other animal. So, I just said, hey, look, I got a great little space. It's still there. It's Massapequa. It's 300 square feet. Let me just start selling them out of Massapequa Park. If it goes well, maybe I'll partner with you, do another one. I ended up bringing them in as a partner on that first one. And we opened, I think it was January 4th, 2017, and there was a line down the street in the snow. So, this is a cold product, and it was just out of the gates. It was extremely successful. We opened up a couple quickly, but we realized if we wanted to grow and scale this brand, we just felt like it needed to be a lot more than smoothies and acai bowls, and we wanted to kind of expand the menu to be able to drive sales and just, be able to have different people in the family. Maybe you want an acai bowl, you want a salad, you want a grain bowl, you want a panini, right? So it took us a year or two to kind of figure out exactly what we wanted to do on the menu and how we were going to execute it, because we don't have kitchens in there. There's small footprints, there's no kitchens, but we have this incredible oven. I call it the magic oven. It's like this thing is a smart oven and cook anything in the chamber, allowed us to really take the food from here to there, and we're able to just output this really high quality, tasty food, and it shows. Because the past few years, as we've really elevated the menu, the sales just kind of skyrocketed there. So, very different, casual, full service, casual dining, quick serve, salads, grain bowls, smoothies, and acai, very different. Growing Taproom corporately, growing Bango through franchising, right? So there's definitely, we're in food and beverage, so it's the same, but it is very different.
Speaking on that, you come across brands that get success with one or two locations, and then they get that bug of all right, time to franchise. Walk us through, because I know that there's always a big learning curve when it comes to becoming a franchisor and what that looks like legally. And
sure, yeah, it's a whole nother world. It's I say, at Taproom, they're my staff, right? So I ultimately have control of everything going on within the company, within the stores. If a store is not up to the brand standards or not performing, it's easy for me to make changes. In franchising, it's not, right? You got to get buy-in from your franchising, your franchisees, and at the end of the day, you're giving them the brand playbook and the standards and the food and the beverage, everything. But it's really up to them to get in their communities and, be positive contributing members in their communities and drive sales. And thankfully we have some amazing first initial franchisees, but you don't have that full control, right? So it's
how many franchisees are there?
We have 3 open. We just started franchising last year, so we have 3 open right now, and a few more being built.
All in Long Island.
All in Long Island. Yeah, we said no. Originally, we had some people ask us, "Hey, can I open one in Orlando?" We wanted to kind of keep it tight, make sure it's at an arm length. We can support, the first few.
Florida's a hotbed for. I think that was the first place that I ever found out what an acai bowl was.
Yeah, there's a bunch of brands around the country.
California and Florida seem to be.
Yes, acai is less than half our sales now. Yeah. It's really salads and grain bowls. So,
do you think the Bango Bowl brand will grow more than Taproom, and not necessarily just more, but do you guys want it to grow more than the Taproom? I
wouldn't say it's. Do we want one more than the other?
How it plays out.
Yeah, we're just growing and scaling. Both brands just differently. Taproom going same thing. I have more control. I could say, hey, we're going to open 1 store this year or 7, right? It's just a matter of me going to execute it. When it's through franchising, you don't necessarily have that control. Are we going to sell 2 franchises this year, 5, 10, 30, right? It's a little bit different. So.
Got it. 15 years roughly, Taproom. What have you seen with labor? Obviously, that is a hot button for all the guests that come on here, and does it worry you, to have plans to grow more stores, either business, and less responsibility for you, because if it's a franchisee, it's on them, but sure. It's still your brand.
Yep. Yeah, this is a hot topic in all industries, but especially in the restaurant industry, and in a post-COVID world, the pay rates really skyrocketed, which on one hand is great. I'd love to pay. We have a lot of staff. I'd love to pay all them twice as much as I pay them, but there's only 100 pennies in a dollar, right? So it's gotten infinitely harder to operate. I look back at when we opened in 2011. We were selling a Bud Light for $5, but some of my cooks were making $10, $11 an hour. Now those same cooks, and deservedly so, with inflation and everything, they're making $25 an hour.
Yeah.
But what I'm selling a Bud Light for did not
Quadruple.
300%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's $7, where it should probably be $12 or $13 for a single Bud Light if it paced the same rate of growth as pay rate. So, it kind of forces you to look elsewhere. It forces you to be a better operator, I think. As we've matured as an organization and, we have more sophisticated technology and labor models, and we're forecasting our sales. That was a big, again, mindset shift from running 1 or 2 restaurants to, running 20. It just forces us to be more efficient with our labor.
On the technology side, how drastically has that changed in 15 years that you used to use at Taproom when you guys were working there, you and Dave? I would
say the industry, there's two answers to that question. The industry has really, really changed. A lot of people say the restaurant industry is pretty lagging relative to other industries with tech. So in the last 10 years, there's just been a tech for everything. Now AI is layering on top of that, and there's different AI tools. But so we like to consider ourselves pretty tech forward. So we have almost a tech for everything in our business. So as the industry has matured, we've been really open to using stuff, and then just as our company has matured, and we've gotten a little more technical, and our team's gotten more sophisticated, we are using a lot of tech.
Nice.
Yeah, it's important, like you said earlier, is that you stopped looking at yourself as a restaurant group and more as a corporation, right? And where the old school restaurant guys, you used to say POS system and they'd be like, taxes.
And even like the POS, and not to knock any old school restaurant guys, but that was the tech, right?
Yeah, that was the only tech.
Yeah, and now,
it was high tech too.
Now there's just so much stuff. I mean, we lean into data big time. We use technology that tracks people's cell phones. So it's not individually tracking you, but it's aggregating the data. So I know in pretty good detail, in a community, in a street, competition, I could geofence a competitor and have a good idea what their traffic is last week, last month. I could look at different day parts. I could look at every restaurant on Main Street in Patchogue and say, hey, these are the top 3 restaurants for lunch. So, hey, and maybe I'm not as high, so I have an opportunity. So from a marketing perspective and growth, I could say, hey, there's opportunity here for growth for lunch. Let's go after that. Or the flip side, hey, I'm seem like the busiest guy for lunch. Maybe I'm going to attack a different day part, and I'm going to, looks like my weekday business could be better. Right. So, so it
takes a lot of the guesswork out of it.
Right. So it's really looking at data.
And social media, clearly you guys are doing it. Are you doing it to its fullest capacity, or is that something that's growing, or you're there?
Yeah. I mean, again, always want to improve. I think we got pretty intentional with social, and not just posting random pictures, but trying to create engagement and trying to, ask thoughtful questions, if you will. As right now, kind of we're trying to help educate the public that we are a multi-brand. We've never really branded Upstream before. They're all kind of siloed. You got thousands and thousands of people walking through our doors at Salt Shack who are leaving, who don't necessarily know that we own Taproom, or vice versa, right? So, it's kind of a strategy right now just to kind of let people know that, we operate these different brands on Long Island. But as far as marketing goes, again, going back to data, getting pretty technical in not just sending an email out to 50,000 people, but having it be backed by the data. So I'm sending out messages, so it's tailored to Mike. Hey, Mike hasn't been in 3 weeks. Let's send him a personal email. Let's see if he engages. If he doesn't, let's send him another one in a week. If he doesn't, let's send him a text message. All right. So it's all automated software that's going out to tens of thousands of people, but it's speaking to you on an individual basis.
And you do all that in-house?
Yeah. Yep.
not outsourced.
Yeah, it's all marketing. We took in-house years ago. It's probably one of the best things I did. We have a 4-person marketing team right now.
Nice.
That's been great.
The Upstream group obviously is Scotty and whoever else. You've had a relationship with him for a long time. How did that come together where you guys went after some of, Ocean Parkway, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying before, right? Like, you can't turn on the character switch. That was like the second time it worked out, because when...
and did you seek them out or vice versa? Or?
Yeah, it was like, I called them. There was 7 beach huts that became available overnight. So there was 2 in Babylon, 1 in Lindenhurst and Amityville. So it's 4 in the town of Babylon.
Okay.
And then 3 for Suffolk County. So it was like Smith Point Beach, Dune Road there, and Hampton Bays. So they came up for bid. At the time, we probably had 2 tap rooms, maybe 3, and a handful of bangos. So, and much larger companies, $100 million hospitality companies, were going to bid for this. So I'd called Scotty and Mark and just said, hey, do you guys plan on going after these beach huts? Their Dublin deck, in my opinion, was a very similar business to what I envisioned Salt Shack should be. And I was right, because the township felt the same way. But so I just called them and I said, hey, are you going after this? I said, yeah, of course. And I said, well, there's 7 of them. If you actually win a few, you could probably use our help. And I think if we come together, we're a stronger force to win these. Again, they had a handful of restaurants, but again, they're going against pretty big restaurant groups. So they said, yeah, let's do it. And it's the same thing. They were getting calls from some big time restaurant names throughout Long Island. Hey, we should partner in this. We should partner. They ended up choosing us. It worked out. We won Salt Shack, which has been, amazing, fun summer places on Long Island. So.
Why do you think your group was chosen? I'm guessing some of the other groups, without naming them, but why you guys? Because those are certainly strong brands.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
what do you think they saw in you guys?
There was a bunch of really great other operators, because we were standing right next to them and giving full presentations to the town boards. But yeah, I just think we came in, and with all the corruption that happened in those beaches, they made a point system. So it was based on your experience, it was based on your financial strength, it was based on how much money you were going to put into it, your plan. So it was a point system. So again, it was going back, we all came together, right? So now there's a handful of partners, and increases our financial strength. We were willing to put a decent amount of capital into the facilities to make them better. And I just think we had a good plan. I think the town was looking for Salt Shack to be exactly what it is, right? This casual, family-friendly place that, has entertainment 7 days a week, that's accommodating to all the volleyball players. I mean, there's over 1,000 volleyball players playing there every day.
Wow.
Right, so
it's like the only time there's traffic on that parkway.
Yeah, sometimes you get some hate messages like, "Dude, I'm just trying to get home from work, and there's your Ocean Parkway is backed up
fault.
because people are trying to get into Salt Shack."
Right.
It's the only shortcut there is on Long Island.
Yeah, but no, I feel fortunate. It's an awesome place, and
it's character too, right? I think like you said, a point system, but you have the history of between you, Scotty, the other partners. It falls back to just
look, it's easy for people to ask around and see who they're getting into business. So when you have good relationships, and every town or village we operate in, great relationships with the mayors and the building departments, and so it's comes to be a small island. So when people are asking around, hey, great, those are good guys, they do the right thing. I think, like I said before, just do the right thing when no one's looking, and it all works out.
How much leverage does that give you for future opportunities in an agreement like that, other townships?
Well, yeah, the Salt Shack, it was only the following year that the restaurants at Tobay Beach became available. So, the actual bid process is pretty intense. I think our application was like 200 and something pages thick. Wow. So going into Tobay, we kind of had 70% of it. It's kind of
the playbook.
Reusable. It's kind of, but we just had to tailor it to what we would do different down the street. So, our opening year at Salt Shack was our greatest resume. We just went to Tobay and said, hey, you can call the town. They're 5 miles east. You can call them. Did we do everything we said we were going to do? Did we operate the first year? Were the residents happy?
Pay your bill.
You pay our bill, bills paid, right? So yeah, that totally helps.
You guys have long leases there?
Yeah, Babylon is 20 years.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
So as long as you do the right
but
thing.
time flies. I mean, I think we're on year
Yeah.
8 or 9.
And then you got another 200-page application.
Yeah.
Jamie, where do you see the next 5-10 years? Will you get off Long Island and see? Because maybe labor is a little bit cheaper, but we hear things are catching
we're
up.
ready. We're looking right now.
You're looking.
We want to open a handful of tap rooms each year. So we might have a location or 2 left on Long Island before we open a secondary market. So yeah, right now we're kind of evaluating what would make the most sense and what market do we want to go open up next. I don't have the answer to that right now, but it's on.
We're not going to hold you to it.
It's on our plan in 2026.
Well, is it
Figure out.
like you said? You have what, Bayside coming on next?
Yeah.
So that'll kind of give you, I guess.
A little-
Do I want to go towards even more to the city, or I'm going further outside the city?
Yeah, we'll see. We're really looking at other states.
Yeah.
Is really kind of what we're contemplating right now. Just not sure exactly where.
How I find it interesting. I didn't grow up that far from the Ronkonkoma train station. What was that like working with that municipality? Is that fair to say?
It wasn't municipality so much. It was the developer Tritech.
It was
right?
okay.
So
got it.
Tritech has built a bunch of the apartments and mixed use like Patchogue, all the restaurants. The apartments with the restaurants underneath in Patchogue was Tritech, and they built in Bayshore and they built in Port Jeff. And so I had known them. I actually lived in the Patchogue ones, years ago before I bought a house, but had a good relationship with the guys. They approached us and said, "Hey, we're building this station yards development around Ronkonkoma. Would you like to open?" Was kind of hesitant at first. I didn't really know what to expect. You need a lot of bodies to walk into a restaurant every week to make it work. A couple hundred apartments is not going to make or break you. You need thousands of people to walk in your door every single week. So that definitely is a positive and is a plus, and we're excited, to be able to service residents that live right there. But the unknown was what was the reach to Ronkonkoma? Like, how would people on the South Shore, would they come up to Ronkonkoma, or would they stay in their South Shore towns of Bayshore and Patchogue and Islip? How much would the train impact business? I didn't really know how much, it was hard to evaluate that, right? So I will say that we opened in January, and it is our best location.
Wow.
We are doing extremely well there. It's all those things have blown past what I thought it would be. The amount of people who the amount of people who patronize us before the
Going
city
to the train
or afterwards is way more than I thought. You could walk in, especially this time of year. The Knicks are playing, the Rangers, the Nets, Islanders. Who has a home game, because you'll see 50 people wearing jerseys, shirts in the restaurant before they jump on the train to go to the city. So it's and they did a great job. It's a beautiful development. Do
you think that has like something to do with it, just like the newness, cleanliness of like just the new area?
Totally. It's you think about the overall guest experience, right? It's not just about our restaurant, although as we're strategically looking to grow and scale and kind of figure out our prototype and what we want to build. I don't know if you guys have been there, but it is night and day from some of our older stores.
Yeah,
right? So
I haven't been there yet.
It's a fully elevated
pictures,
fully elevated new aesthetic. So we put more energy, a lot more money into the look and feel of the place to give a better guest experience. And it doesn't stop there, because the whole development, they just did a really great job of building that development. So yeah, I think people are enjoying it. I think people who live very close to there, now they don't have to drive to a South Shore town or drive up to Port Jeff or drive over to Smithtown, right? They got
some of the traffic and
and it'll catch on. There's a big parking garage there that's never full, right? I keep hearing people like, oh, where do I park over there? And I'm like, oh, there's a parking garage literally
multi-story
right there. Yeah. It's 5
just
stories.
Not familiar with the area.
It's free parking for 3 hours. So
could that be the footprint for? I mean, I guess at some point you're not going to you're going to stop Long Island, but are you potentially seeking out other downtowns with that same type of feel?
All different stuff works. Yeah. It's, and maybe there's more opportunity for development like that out of state. Because now I'm relying on $1 billion development, right? Like that's one of the bigger developments.
Tritech is massive
on Long Island. So, it worked here. We're happy to be there. We're actually opening another restaurant in Station Yards.
Different concept?
Yeah, so it kind of randomly happened. There's a concept out of Nassau called the French Workshop.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you've ever seen it.
In Garden City.
It's great.
There's one where in Plainview.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just last year as we opened a location on Franklin Avenue in Garden City, which is another killer location. Garden City is just an amazing...
Meaning tap room.
Yeah, it's just an amazing community. I was just kind of popping in weekly to check on construction, and I was going to French Workshop, getting a coffee and a yogurt and, sometimes an egg sandwich or a corn muffin or something. And I was just really impressed. I'm like, wow, they do a great job. I just became a raving fan of their brand, and always packed. And I was online one day and I'm like, I wonder who owns this place. I'm big into, networking. I had no intention. I just want to say hi and say I'm about to be your neighbor if you never need anything, or vice versa. And I kind of went on their website, emailed them. Guy emailed me back. He said, I know who you are. I actually applied to work for you a couple of years ago. And he's like, I know all about you. And he's like,
And who was that? The franchisor?
Yeah, he was the franchise sales guy.
The sales guy.
But it wasn't public knowledge that they were franchising yet.
Okay.
So they didn't announce it. They were just kind of building the infrastructure behind the scenes. So he told me that. He said, are you interested in buying a franchise? I said, no, I'm focused. I'm listening to my coach. I'm not doing anything.
But.
And we just started talking more about the brand. And he's like, look, we're not even legal. I kind of caught wind of some of the sales they were doing. It was pretty impressive. I didn't actually believe it the first time I heard it. And I just said, look, call me in 2 months when you're legal and you could tell me more. But I'm, probably not, but just feel free to call me. And he called me, and just the more I learned about what they're doing, what their plans were, and more about the business, I got
more intrigued.
I got more intrigued. I talked to my consultant there, and she was like, look, there's a lot of things I've kind of said you shouldn't do, but I really think you should do this. This is, they have a great brand, and, I think it adds to what you're doing. So long story short, we ended up becoming their first franchisee, and we're going to open in Station Yards.
Wow, congrats. Is that you and Dave?
Yep.
Is that the group? Or
yeah,
just
me and Dave.
You and Dave. Got it.
Yeah. So waiting on a building permit any day now, and we'll start construction very, very soon.
Expected to open next year?
Yeah, probably March-ish, depending on, permitting's always, you can get a good idea of construction timelines, but, when you're relying on permits, that's one of the things that's not, in your grasp. So that's kind of the unknown.
And I think Vin and I, find it interesting, but like that process, you guys have a team for that too? Or is it you and Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I always say it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's, hey, there's 30 roles I'd love to hire right this second. But, as you're growing that leadership team, and we have about 14 or 15 people that work, that's just for Taproom, actually. Yeah, and I mean, that's the beauty of building a business, right? So it's, you have 1 or 2 restaurants, you wear every single hat, and you're doing everything. You get a few restaurants, and now it's trying to figure out, right, who you're going to start bringing on a team to help you run these. And then just as we're growing from 5 locations to 7 to 10 to 15, right, we're really strategically planning the growth of the stores, but also the team so they can help us operate and scale. So some of the roles there's a lot of moving pieces to opening restaurants, especially when you open 4 in 1 year. So some of the aspects of it are with the team, but there's still a bunch of stuff we do. Like I'm still really doing a lot of the site selection, with my attorney doing lease negotiations. So, I'm kind of still very involved in the business side and the lease side of things.
Gives you the opportunity though to, like, we talk about it all the time, like, we do EOS, so it's like the quadrants of what do I like doing that I have to do, what I don't like doing that I have to do, and trying to get everything into that top left quadrant of, like, where do I want to spend my time on the things that I really love to do, and that I feel I'm good at too.
Right.
Not just
it's something that you like to do, and that's the beauty of building a business. It's like I did a lot of stuff for years because I had to, and I really wasn't good at it.
Yeah.
Right. But I was forced to do it. I was, I'm doing operational. I'm ordering alcohol or food, or doing the hiring, the firing, the scheduling. I did bookkeeping. Early in the days, I was doing the bookkeeping, HR stuff, marketing. Now my marketing team knows 10 times than what I do, and they should, right? So it's like just surround yourself.
Like I used to do this.
Yeah.
And
I'm laughing because the more I've relinquished stuff that I just don't like to do, it's been better for all. Like, when I focus on tasks that are just
the thing that you don't like to do, someone else does like doing that.
Yeah, it was,
and they're good at it.
Interesting. A handful of years ago, we went through some personality assessments with the management.
Yeah.
It was really eye-opening because there's no right or wrong. We all just tick so different.
Yeah.
And when you could really understand.
We just did the same thing last week. We did like a Colby report. We did cultural index.
Yeah.
Is another.
It's interesting when you
and
get
you're
a look.
like, oh, she is someone who likes to work alone, but they like to work in groups. Or this person's like myself, very results driven, quick, don't have the attention to detail. Again, it's no right or wrong.
But you need a yang for that.
But exactly. So I need someone next to me who is much methodical, much slower, precision, has
does
to
the procedures.
Right, like everything has to be exactly perfect. But I got to understand on my team who I'm working with. So that person, I'll give them one task, one project, one comment, one whatever. Let them process it, do it, complete it, on to the next one. But then I have a girl on my team over here. If I were to give her one thing, like that person, she gets so bored and she's like, she would probably quit. Right? She's like, that's it? Like, give me the 5 things. I need to go.
She needs to be able to multitask and do all those
or else she'd be bored. So, understanding the different personalities on your team and how we all work with each other is interesting.
But it's also funny, like when we were talking about it, how even before you do all those things, it's just like naturally those people all kind of form together at the top because it just organically somewhat happens to be like, well, here's the leadership that we kind of put together, but not by design. And then you look at all the cultural aspects of the personalities and you're like, well, that's why we work well together. And we've all kind of, climbed the mountain of where we're at because of, if you had too much of the same, we'd probably be a failure.
Exactly. Kind of be spinning around in circles because exactly what you said. You need the yin to the yang. So.
Yeah. So
Jamie, do other restaurateurs reach out to you for bouncing ideas and even more so like consulting with you or free advice, if you will?
I love networking. I love getting with other restaurateurs. I'm actually going to a dinner tomorrow night with a bunch of them, local from Long Island. Next week in the city, I'm going with a bunch of C-suite executives from national chains. I'm in some formal groups. I have a handful of restaurateurs around the country that, have 10, 20, 30, 60 locations. And, we meet every quarter and we share ideas. We share our P&L, like open book. We share everything with each other. So there's different levels of it. Even on a very local level, years ago, Patchogue was the first one. They're like, hey, can you chair and start a restaurant committee within the town and get all the restaurant guys or girls just to meet once a month? And we did it, and it was very successful. A lot of us restaurateurs in Patchogue are very close friends. We always had the mindset, as, yeah, we're competition, but not really. Let's elevate the community. Let's elevate Patchogue as a whole, and it'll all work out for us.
Right, you'll draw more people
So
in.
that was our mentality for 10 years. And I think it served us very well in Patchogue. And then as we kind of grew and some of the other guys in Patchogue opened in Bayshore or wherever, some of those other communities like, hey, can we kind of do that same thing you guys did in Patchogue? So there's a restaurant committee in Bayshore, and then Rockville Center started doing it. So, big proponent of sharing ideas,
Coming
helping each
together.
other. And at the end of the day, it's not about who has a bigger business or more locations. I learned plenty from guys who have one restaurant, right? So it's like I just try to kind of keep that open mindset and learn, as much as I can. But happy to help people, and it's just experience, right? It's like there's a couple brands in Long Island have a few locations. I think they're gonna crush it and grow really big. And I just know exactly I know their pain points. I'm like,
Been there,
I've
done
been
that.
there. Like, I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly what you're thinking. And I have a good idea of maybe one thing you could try to get you out of that, because I was just there.
That's awesome. So you're not busy.
Yeah. 3 kids.
Yeah.
On maybe we'll shift gears on the personal side. How do you turn it off for a little bit? I mean, so many employees, franchises, new concept coming.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you get away from it for even just a little bit?
Golf.
You golf a lot?
Yeah, I do. My wife would say I golf a lot.
My wife says the same thing, and I feel like I don't golf.
I don't feel like I golf. I'm like, I
Not
don't golf
enough.
that much. She's like, you don't? But yeah, I mean, I have 3 little kids, 6 and under. I coach my son's football team. We got a game tonight at 5:00. So, like to golf. But, I've been with my wife, dating at least for 10, 11 years. And I think I had 1 restaurant, maybe 2 when she met me. And those early days, I was a small business owner. The business owned me. Right? Like I don't think I was home for dinner ever. Holidays, sorry, I got to work, so I was in the restaurants. I was in it, working, running shifts, making sure, shaking hands, doing all the things to build a business. And I don't work any less now. If anything, I might work more, but it's just different.
It looks different.
It's on my time. I have an amazing team behind me. It's not necessarily 9 to 5, but it is way more flexible. My personal time is extremely flexible relative to what it was when I was in the restaurants.
You can actually set the schedule.
Yeah. So and family's important. So I create that boundary, and I make sure that, I'm with them. It's a fun phase right now because I bring my 6 and 4-year-old into the restaurants, and, they know exactly where the whipped cream is, and they walk right into the kitchen, and they know where the cherries are and the whipped cream, and they think they could walk in the kitchen of any restaurant that they're just starting to get it that daddy owns this one, but they know the staff and they'll go get a lemonade. So I try to
kind of building them up just as people.
Yeah, build them in, and then if I want to pop into some restaurants on the weekends, a lot of times I'm taking the kids and kind of mixing that family.
Certainly plenty to stop into, and certainly kudos to you guys. And if you guys go out to dinner, where will you go? Local to, your area, or try to get away from it?
Yeah, relatively local.
I know the kids are smaller, so it's different, but even like vacationing, like do you guys get a chance to get away when kids aren't in school? Or?
Yeah, both with and without the kids. I just went to Bahamas 2 weeks ago and kind of left the kids behind, and we just went.
Nice.
We just went with a few couples, but when you have a 6, 4, and 7-month-old,
sure,
right? So
it's not much free time.
Not
there's
so
only
easy.
so much
getting away,
going out to dinner with the family, especially with the 7-month-old and bedtime schedules and all that. But we mix it up, whether it's staying local or if my wife and I are just going out, maybe we'll going to Nassau or wherever.
Got it. And besides for the support system, your wife, does she work in the business in any capacity?
She's not in the business. She was a stay-at-home mom for a while, but then a year ago she opened a spin studio in Sayville. It's called Cycle Bar.
Very nice.
She owns and oversees a spin studio.
Is that going to become a
So that is a franchise. He's a franchisee.
She is.
There's
Got
one
it.
in Garden City on Long Island and one in Huntington.
More locations to come?
We'll see. We have with the
More
new baby.
locations or more babies? What are you gonna?
We're probably done with the babies. And at least while the kids are young, she's probably good with the one store.
Got it.
But the restaurants will keep growing.
A lot of juggling.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 5 years from now, what does this maybe look like to you? And are there any other Jamie and Dave's in the mix of some young talent that you see? I hate to say that word, but any talent that you see that maybe join you in some capacity, like you did with Scotty, or
Yeah, it's happening right now.
it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Upstream Hospitality. So I'll touch real quick on the name. So Upstream, to us, it was I believe if you want to be great at anything, could be a great golfer, could be a great father, could be great in business. One, it takes tremendous effort, right? Even the best athletes in the world. I mean, they're some of the hardest working people who put that extra effort in. So, I always kind of thought if you want average results and it's just go through the motions. Just go downstream, just float downstream. You want to be great, you got to fight upstream and you'll be in the top 1% or 5%, but you got to go upstream. And that was kind of like, oh, that's the organization. That's the mindset I want to build. So we have over 1,000 employees right now, and we're intentional in trying to instill that mindset in them is be great. And not just at work, but in your lives. And we'll help you do that. And we've created some...
This will just be a piece of that.
Yes, we've created some curriculums for them. If I meet, I have an open book. I set meetings, any staff. I don't have all the answers, but if you want to learn about business or entrepreneurship or buying a home or whatever, I'm an open book. Come talk, and if I could help you, I will. So that's the type of mindset, and so we've attracted great people. And our corporate chef, he was actually a chef in the New York Yankees. He worked in the Steinbrenner suite, in the owner's suite, and COVID happened, and he was out of a job. There's no baseball.
Wow.
And we randomly, my partner Dave bumped into him at Salt Shack, and they just started chatting, didn't know each other. And he said, oh, I'm a chef. And he's like, oh, we just opened a restaurant, 5 miles up the road. We need a chef. And he's like, well, I got nothing going on. I'll come work with you until the Yankees start playing again. And then we got along. We loved him. He loved us. He's like, my real dream is to own restaurants, not necessarily, even though he's a diehard Yankee fan, even though I probably have the dream job. I love the Yankees and I work in the owner's suite. He's like, it's not my calling. It's not what I want to do my whole life. I want to own restaurants. And we said, come sit with us. We're growing. This was 5 years ago. We're growing. We're scaling. Learn from us. Grow with us. And one day we'll do something with you. And that one day is now because he's going to own a piece of that first French workshop.
Nice.
As we're pretty focused on those brands right now, but I foresee in the future as we have built the experience, we built the team, we have the technologies, we have the systems, all that stuff is progressing every day, that there'll be other brands out there that we potentially acquire or maybe we make an investment in. That's where I kind of, I don't know if it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road.
The near future.
But, in the near future, in the next few years, I really just see focusing on the brands we have. But then maybe somewhere down the line, we make an investment in some other brand.
Nice. How many employees sometimes take you up on the offer of, can I pick your brain on?
Yeah, it's awesome. And I love it.
It happens regularly?
Yeah, like I'll throw out meetings. Hey, Tuesday, November 10th or whatever, I'll be in Taproom Bayshore, 7 p.m. Here's a QR code. Respond if you want to come have a little chat. And we'll get a bunch of people that show up, and I kind of tailor that convo based on who's there and what they want. But it's a lot of the same personal development, have a plan. Don't just go through the motions, but what are you working towards? How's your credit? Do you save money?
All the questions that guy asked you when you needed money.
Yeah, and I just give him some books to read. I go around, and when I'm in circles of people who've gotten very successful in business, it's no secret they've all read the same 100 books, right? Like Traction, yes, right? Like they right? So
Good to Great.
Yeah, like my first book that I read that cemented me into entrepreneurship and everything with Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was 18.
Same here.
Read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Robert Kiyosaki, right?
Yeah.
Reading, what is it? Unreasonable Hospitality.
Yeah, it's a good one. So it's just like, hey, there's so much, we live in this information world, whether it's podcasts, whether it's YouTube, online courses, books, events, there's so much information. You just got to want
AI.
it. And you now AI, like you just got to do it. So I just asked them, like, are you just going through the motions, or are you trying to better yourself if that's what you want? Are you, what are the last 3 books you read? Oh, I don't read. Okay, we're going to get you reading.
Right.
Read this, read that. What do you listen to in your car? Oh, I listen to Taylor Swift. All right, that's fine. But every other time in your car, listen to this. Yeah. Right? And so you're just trying to help them understand that there potentially is a different way or different way of thinking, and to try to just learn in different aspects of their lives.
Nice. Is there a mentor out there or a restaurateur that you've met or want to meet because you envy him or her?
I wouldn't necessarily say there's one person. I will say in this one particular networking group I'm in, there's a lot of very successful national chain restaurateurs.
Okay.
Actually, like kind of 2 groups. And most of them are smaller fish in the pond, if you will. So, yeah, I've been pretty intentional of trying to rub shoulders with the right people and learn from people. Because same thing I said to the other guy who's like, oh, I know exactly where you are. I'm sitting, trying to sit in rooms with people who have 50 units, 100 units, whatever.
They say, I know where you are.
I know exactly, like you should be thinking about this,
yeah.
or, have you thought about that? And I'm like, oh, it's so insightful with people who've been there, done that.
Just being at different points of your career.
It's just the evolution of business, right?
Yeah,
It's
we did it, and I think we talk about it all the time. We did a client event, I think a Ranger game two years ago in the suite, and we had hospitality guys that have one location looking up to the guy that had 10, and then the 10 going, oh, you own 30? And it's like seeing them interact was just so interesting, and willing to just share. I mean, you could always learn more no matter how big you are.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that I'm going through now that even if you told me 5 years ago, I wasn't ready to hear that. Yeah. Right? Like, I'm not there yet, right? So even when I sometimes speak to someone who has 100 units, I'm like, oh, I never thought I would even have to deal with that. Right? Like, that's so not on my radar yet because I'm not there yet. Like, I don't have to worry about that quite yet.
You hit different points. I think you said it earlier, too, that, we kind of struggle with it, is that, when you go from whether it's, a $5 million to $10 million or $20 million company, we're not equipped to run that business. We were equipped to start and to get it to a certain point, but you need that help from those other people in order to go, I know how to run a $20 million.
I just think you get there, when we brought on a coach years ago, I had colleagues say, hey, what do they know that you don't know, or why are you doing that? And I'm like, yeah, there's things I'll figure out, but I'll probably do it faster, more cost effective, more efficiently if I got someone in my corner who's been there, done that.
Yeah.
And if they have exposure to all these other brands around the country, which is an invaluable piece. Like I try to in my other circles, and I do have some groups that I'm talking to people, like I said, in other markets. But when they're like, hey, I consult for this other group who's got 50 stores and they did X, Y, Z and it worked. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Like I never would have thought about that.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
I'm going to go implement that locally.
I think sometimes as humans, we just could get in our own way between our ears of like, if you think you know everything, look out because it'll be self-limiting.
Once you believe that, it's game over.
Right.
Like you got to always be learning. You got to be open.
Yeah. Jamie, anything you want to share that someone doesn't know about you that you feel like could be helpful to?
Nothing comes off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Just the fact that, like I said, with owning these different brands, that there's a lot of people on Long Island who come to one, don't realize we own the other. So, just understanding the scope of the hospitality group.
Got it. Well, the story is awesome. I mean, I almost feel like you can't write it any better. I think there's so much more to come, and sometimes we'll get like listeners who know us and reach out and be like, hey, do you know so and so? And then if they ever do so, we'll just connect them with you.
Yeah,
and, with your certainly permission, but keep at it. I mean, you guys have had tremendous success. At least certainly hearing it and seeing it through social from all aspects. And man, God bless you and the family. So
yeah, congrats on what you guys are doing too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.